Most China stocks simply uninvestable now. Deirdre Bosa digging into that thesis for today's Tech Check. Dee.
Brian, that really is the question that has been plaguing not just Alibaba, but the Chinese markets as a whole for years now. And I want to go back to 2020 because really there was this inflection point for both Alibaba and Chinese stocks. So we're going to show you Alibaba and the Hang Seng. Since December of 2020, that is when the Chinese government launched an antitrust investigation into Alibaba and its affiliate Ant Financial, now known as Ant Group, and started this years-long decline. It was kind of this wild card that told investors that Beijing could and would crack down on some of its biggest companies, no matter how successful they were. And so Alibaba now is kind of seen as a proxy for Chinese stocks that are largely seen as uninvestable. The company has tried to do everything to win back investor confidence. It put Jack Ma out of the spotlight. It has restructured the entire company. It tried to spin off its cloud division and list it. That didn't work. Even yesterday, Brian, announcing a $25 billion buyback. That is positive for investors, yet the stock is down today, and that really just glosses over the fundamental problems, one of them being that the field has completely changed in China for an Alibaba and some of the other tech giants, allowing sort of a new class of tech giants to rise, like a Pinduoduo, like a Shein, even a Huawei, which has been around a long time, but gets help from the government. And so that's key here for investors. Is Alibaba, any of these stocks, investable? What is it going to take for the government to look at another company and say, you know what, you've grown too big, we're going to crack down, we're going to launch an investigation into you? And that's the fear for a lot of them.
It's been a nightmare being in Alibaba and the rest of the Chinese stocks. I fell for it. I thought that tech crackdown would be resolved, but year after year, there's just always some negative news that comes out. And you will hear people out there saying, buy the dip. It's a long-term hold. Well, guess what? By the time Alibaba gets to 80, all the other stocks are at 52 weeks highs. And that's what happened. I honestly thought that Alibaba could go back up to 100. But look, it's been nothing but a nightmare. Nothing but stress, nothing but sleepless nights. And the earnings, wow, terrible earnings. Even though they did announce a share buyback, but no one cares because it's not about fundamentals. Too much risk. Look at all these downgrades that Alibaba got on Friday. JP Morgan maintains overweight on Alibaba, lowers price target to 105. We have Goldman Sachs maintains buy, lowers price to 105. And I've lost majority of my money in call options. I have not learned my lesson when I lost a huge amount of money back in 2021 with naked calls. And here I am buying calls, weekly calls, day after day on Alibaba. And look, with Alibaba, you have to sell when you're up, even just a little bit. And I knew that this pump up was a fake pump, just like they had in November. You see this? November 15th, right before earnings, it went all the way to $87. And it dropped, and it continued to drop, and that's how it was. It dropped one day, and it went down. And it is so disconnected from U.S. stocks right now. U.S. tech stocks are at 52 weeks high. Chinese stocks are at 52 weeks lows. So what makes people think that Chinese stocks are going to go up and US tech stocks are going to go down? How? Because when the US market goes down, it's going to drag Alibaba down along with the other Chinese stocks. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm tired of being in the stock market. I've lost a lot of money. I even tried taking out loans. Can't even do that anymore. I just want to be able to sleep at night. One good night of sleep, but I can't because I'm just so worried. And I worried because I over leveraged and I have not learned my lesson. Let me know your thoughts. Are you still in Alibaba? And what do you think? Do you honestly think that Alibaba can go back up to 100 this year.